Hello. Nice to see you all again. Lies, lies. I can't see you. I'm not in your rooms. So, today I was actually going to show you how to smoke some mackerel to make some lovely smoked mackerel pate. And I usually smoke in the house, but it really smells and I don't really want to do that in the living room. So I was going to do it outside, but the storm's still a little bit windy and I thought it wouldn't be a very good idea. So what we're doing today is we're going to do some steamed buns. So whenever I go to London, I always try and get to Chinatown and get some steamed buns because I love them. We've got loads of flour up the food chair, so I was thinking maybe it'd be nice to look for other ways to use it. So if you haven't been down to get some flour yet, please come and get some flour. And in fact, quite a lot of the ingredients I'm using today have come from food share. So things we've collected from the supermarkets or things that have been donated. We've got some lovely leeks up there at the moment. Thank you once again, Cornwall Gleaning Network, for those. And there are still some potatoes there as well. Anyway, come to the next collection, grab some vegetables. If you wanted to do the meat version, ask if we've got any meat in the freezer, and yeah, come and have a go. So first of all, I'm going to make the dough for the steamed buns. You see, I've got my probe here because we're making a yeasty dough, so we want to be able to, we don't want to kill it. But like we said with the bread, we don't want the water too hot. So you want your water no more than 40 degrees. Mine's on 35.7, so that will do. That will be fine. Yeast, you've got the ratios in the description, but I've got 2 teaspoons of yeast here. Chuck them in my bowl. I've got a very large mixing bowl. 1 teaspoon of sugar. Half salt. Let's bring this flour over. And then my 1 cup of warm water. Putting that in, and then I'm going to add the oil to that. Okay, so that's my 1 teaspoon of oil. I'll just give that a little whisk up, and we just want to dissolve our yeast. It smells delicious. And then to that, I'm just going to add my 3 cups of flour. I'm not sieving it. You can if you want to, but I haven't bothered. It's fine. It's not like cakes, stuff like that, because we're going to be kneading this. We're going to make sure everything gets incorporated anyway, so it's pretty easy. It's an easy dough, but there are a few more steps than there was for the bread, but it's still not hard. So we're just bringing this all together now. I've got a little spatula here. You can use a wooden spoon, rice paddle, anything really. We're just using the stuff that we've got to save it from landfill, sort of adapting some nice recipes and making them out of the ingredients that we've got to hand. You'll see that that's a pretty shaggy dough, but it's good enough now for me to get my hands in. Making sure your hands are lovely and clean. Just give it a little bit of a knead, and then we're going to turn it out on the board. So, once you've got it all together in a nice little dough ball, you're going to need to knead this. And if you're doing it on a table like me, you might want to move things because they all start trying to escape because it's wobbly. So we're going to knead this for about 3 minutes. We want a nice soft dough. So I just carry on thinking beautiful thoughts. So, once you've got it together and it's becoming nice and smooth, you see that still needs a little bit more work, so keep going. So, can you see that? It's lovely and smooth now. Ooh, stick my fingers in it. So we need to let this proof now. I'm going to put it in my bowl, putting it in this glass one. We want to let that double in size. Now, because I haven't got all day, I'm going to put some hot water in here. I'm going to stick my bowl inside it and cover it and leave it for about 40 minutes because my house is quite cold. If you've got a warm house, then you might not even need to do this. You don't want to be like waiting for hours and hours. So that's why I'm going to speed up the process. So I'm going to go and get my water, like sort of 3/4 fill this up, lid over it, and then we're going to leave it and we'll come back to it. But in the meantime, we can prepare our vegetables and our meat for the filling. Our dough's rising, hopefully. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. Oh, just a point on that actually, if you haven't got any yeast and you want to have a go at these, I've seen some yeast down the food chair. So just ask one of the girls, they're in the dry store cupboard along with the gram flour. If you've not tried the barges, have a go. We've got gram flour down there portioned out. Anyway, back to today's steamed buns. I haven't got exactly the ingredients that I've said in the recipe. That's like your standard recipe. I'm just making do with what I could get hold of. So most of this came from food chair, like the carrots, there were some spring onions, some mushrooms, some leeks, beautiful leeks we've got down there. So you can see I'm trying to use the stuff to stop it going in the landfill. But I might not have exactly the same values that it says in the recipe, but then I can bulk it out with other things. So what we're going to do then, chop all these vegetables super fine. You can see like these carrots are really tiny, yeah, because we're not going to cook them too much beforehand, but we don't want to be breaking our teeth, do we? So we're going to chuck all of this now in a big bowl. And if like me, you haven't got the exact ingredients, just make it up to the overall amount, if that makes sense. So if you haven't got 1.5 cups of carrots, but you've got 2, and you've only got 1/2 cup of leek, you know, that's okay. That you can kind of make it up, if that makes sense. Right, so to our finely chopped veg, I'm just going to add my teaspoon of salt. And we're going to let that sit for a couple of minutes, and that's to let the salt draw excess moisture out of our vegetables so that our buns are not all wet and sticky. Okay, so we'll just set that aside. Now here, I've got some pork. Because I'm going to make some meat ones. Now you can stop at that if you're only making if you're going to make vegetarian ones, and use any vegetables that you kind of like, you know. But that's beautiful on its own. But I found some pork belly slices in one of the freezers that we needed to use. So I've brought them home and I've just chucked them in the food processor. And if you're using the meat, you would put your garlic in the food processor with the meat. Because I'm making vegetable ones, purely vegetable ones as well, I've only put half the garlic in there. So the other half of the garlic, I've split this up so that I can explain to you. You wouldn't put your garlic in with your wet veg while you're drawing out the moisture. Keep it separate. However, if you are doing meat ones like I am as well, chuck your garlic in with that, and that will really blend it down and get it all into the meat and make it smell nice. Now, what we're going to do with all this then is give it a little fry. We'll do the veg first and then the meat. I'm just going to transfer this veg now, it's had a little rest, into one of these veg bags. If you've got muslin, that's a really good medium to use. You just want something that the veg isn't going to escape through, but the water is. So once you've got it all in your mesh, you just want to give it a squeeze. But you don't want to take all the moisture out. We just want the excess. So we're just going to squeeze it back into our bowl. There we go. Right, look at that. Just going to put about a tablespoon of oil in my frying pan here. Get my lighter out. And I just heat that up. So we get our oil shimmering. Again, we don't want it smoking hot. Just give it a little shimmer. While my veg is still draining off a little bit, I'm going to put my meat that I'm using in the bowl, along with my black pepper, my little bit of sugar, sesame oil. Smells so good. And my soy. And I'm going to put the rest of the garlic in there. I just wanted to show you it in case you were just making the veg versions. And we're just going to mix that all in. So we've got some nice seasoned pork here. But like I say, if you're not using meat, put all those flavourings straight into your veg. Okay. It doesn't look very appetising, but it smells divine. Okay, I'll give him give this one more little squeeze, and then I'm going to chuck him in my pan. You see how the longer you leave it, the more juice you get out of it. This was clean, by the way. It didn't have any mud in it from vegetable shopping. Okay. So let's give this a little. So we're going to stir fry this for about, I don't know, 3 minutes. Just making sure the rest of that moisture's out, but also just cooking all those flavours together. Like with all these onion type vegetables, they seem to take on a sweetness when you fry them in oil. Just draws out another side of their flavours, if you like. So we just get that all nice. Take that rawness out of them. That's good. Okay, so when you're happy with that, have a little sniff and see if there's no more rawness left. You can take it out and stick it in a bowl and put it to the side. Now I'm going to fry off my meat. And you can use any meat really. I can't see why you couldn't do this recipe and use chicken. If we've got chicken there, just ask next time you come to the Cavrana, just see what meat we've got. I was actually originally going to try and find a beef version to use, ground beef, because we've got quite a lot of it up there, up the food share. But like I say, this was an emergency stand-in, if you like, because I couldn't do the smoking. So yeah, like I will have a look and see if I can find a way of using that minced beef in a similar way. But yeah, if we've got chicken up there, you could have a go with the chicken, pork, just mince it down. I mean, I don't know if sausage meat would work, but you could have a go. I know we've got sausages up there, but if you were going to use sausages, I'd use the plain ones, not like Lincolnshires or anything else. So just fry this off a little bit, because we don't want it totally raw. We want to make sure our meat's cooked. Been cooking our pork now for about 3-4 minutes, and it looks like all the raw bits have gone. And I'm going to leave that in the pan because I do want to make some with just the vegetables, and then I'm going to mix the rest of it in with the pork, do some pork and vegetables. Yeah, so leave that sat there. I'm just going to clear my dirty bowls away, and then we'll get on with it. Okay, so it's been about 40 minutes. We're going to have a look at our dough. Oh, look at that. This is very good dough. Look. So now, just take it out of the water. So it's all doubled up in size. I'm going to take it out of the bowl, and we're going to knock it back for a bit. And then we're going to give it another 30 minutes. Just let it rise up again and get all fluffy. So we'll leave that then, set that aside. In the meantime, we're going to sort out our filling. Ordinarily, I'd combine the meat and the veg all together. But because I want to make some that is purely vegetarian, I'm leaving them separate. I'll probably combine, once I make the vegetarian ones, I'll combine the meat and the veg, and I'll show you. So we'll just get our flour out so that we're ready to roll out our little circles. Right, so our dough's nicely risen. I'm going to take it out of our bowl, and we're going to divide this now into 16 balls. Good thing about 16 is it's really easy to do. You just keep going halves. Okay, now I've got my 16 little balls. I'm just going to give them a nice roll, make them nice and firm. We want to make about 4-inch discs out of this dough, so if we start off with it round, it makes it a lot easier to roll it out round, if that makes sense. Now we're going to try and get nice little 4-inch rounds out of this, and you want to keep it thicker in the middle, just thinner at the edges. So I'm just going around the edge just to pull it out a little. The reason why you want it thicker in the middle is so that it doesn't split when you put your filling in. Now, as you can see, I've got 16 to do, and it'd be really boring for you to watch me do all 16. As we've got one rolled out, let's put some vegetables in it, see how we do it. Just about that much, really. And maybe a little bit more than that, to be fair. And then I'm going to get some water. Just put a little bit around the edge there, just to help it seal. Alright. And then we're just going to pinch, and just like, you see what we're doing, we're just making it into a little parcel. It'll be like a little flower, so you're pinching it between your thumb and your finger, really, and just making it go round and round like that. Can you see? I do it like that. You can see what I'm doing. I will do a few of these, obviously. So I'm just picking up the bit that hasn't been pinched yet and squidging it together. It's a little parcel. Now, because this is a veg one, I'm using a green cupcake holder. Just going to put that in there. It's good to use baking parchment or something like that in the bottom of your steamer. Just helps you get these out easier. So that's my first one. So I'm going to work from this way down. And that way, that one will have been resting for longer, obviously, than the others by the time I get to it. But then if I steam it first, they all kind of get the same amount of rest in between. I hope that makes sense. If not, just ask me in the comments and I'll try and explain it clearer. Okay, so let's get on with the next one. Right, so we've got all our buns ready. I've got 4 of them here because I can only get 4 in my steamer at a time. So you will find with 16, unless you've got a massive steamer, you are going to do these in batches. But like I said, because we're doing them in order, they'll all be resting for the same amount of time, so it will all be perfect. Right, now if you've got bamboo steamers, you'll know how to use them, won't you? I've got this one here just to show you. I can't actually use this one because I've got too many to cook. But the reason why bamboo's the best to use is because it absorbs the moisture. I'm going to be using my stock pot to steam these today. And just like with our bread, where we needed a cloth to catch the condensation, if you like, the drips, we're going to do the same thing again, because obviously metal, unlike bamboo, isn't going to absorb that excess moisture. Right, here we go then. I've got my water boiling in there. You'll see it's this pot actually is what I usually use for doing my fish if I'm smoking anything as well. It's a very hard working pan, this is. So all those stains are from all the work it's done, usually being boiled within an inch of its life. And as you can see, it's got holes in it to let the steam through, but it's also got that lip which kind of gives it a seal there, so all the steam comes into this basket. I've also got this little thing. It came out of an old microwave. My microwave broke, but I kept the rack. That's really handy for lifting our buns and our fish, when we do fish, off the bottom of the pan. Right, and then simply place them on my rack. And you need some space in between them, because if all the gods are on our side, these will expand. Once you've got them in there then, you need to put your lid on. In fact, not forgetting the cloth. And just put that there to absorb all the moisture. I'm going to put the lid on. And we give that 20 minutes to steam. So I'll see you in 20 minutes with some delicious buns. While we're waiting for our buns to finish off, we're going to put together our dipping sauce. I've lightly toasted some sesame seeds in there. You don't need any oil if you're going to toast them yourselves. You can buy them ready toasted, but I don't. It's easy enough just to put them on the stove. Just going to put them in a bowl along with the other ingredients. There's about a tablespoon there. my soy sauce. I'm using light soy sauce. You can use whatever you like. I don't think it's really that important if it's light or dark, but I've got the light one. I only had red wine vinegar, so I'm using that. And sugar. And then we've got some nice chunky chilies. Again, out of the freezer. So if you want to come along to Food Chair, grab your chili pepper and some chunky onion. There we go. Right, I'm just going to give that all a little stir. Obviously it's got loads of time, so the sugar will be nicely dissolved by the time you come to eat it. There we go. I'll just leave that, and we'll give it a little stir before we use it. Okay then, 20 minutes later, see what we've got. Just going to use my cloth. One of my handles fell off my steamer. Okay, can you see those? See how nicely they've fluffed up? Just going to take those out. Look at these. These are delightful little things. We've got all our delicious ingredients in our dipping sauce. The sugar, the soy, the vinegar, chunky onions, chunky peppers, chili peppers. So let's have a taste, shall we? Let's just get some of that steam out. Now, just a little note about these then. So you can see they're sort of a yellowish colour, I guess. That's because we're using flour that's not been bleached. If we were using flour from, say, the Asian food store, it'd be super white. It would look beautiful. But these taste just as good. It's just this flour's not been bleached, whereas that flour would have been. Okay, so let's just break it open. And here's all our lovely mixture inside. Look, and it's all fluffy. Can you see that lovely fluffy bun? Lush. Now I like to chuck my sauce in it. Yummy. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy your steamed buns. And like I say, if you want to come down to the Food Chair, see what ingredients you can get the flour. There might be some carrots there, you never know, there's leeks, it's all sorts. Come down and get your ingredients and have a go. And let me know how you get on. And we'll see you next week. Until then, yum.